Hi, welcome to Relish Books. Today I just wanted to give a quick review, share some of my thoughts on the bestseller Where the Crawdads Sing. This was published in 2018. It's one of those unique books that has like a huge burst of success and popularity, and it's across genres. This book seems to have appealed to readers, like I said, like all across genre. Like everybody was reading this. It reminds me a little bit of like All the Light We Cannot See. It came out and it was just this massive success, and it died down a little bit, but we're still seeing this around. Like libraries still stock 3 to 4 copies because people are always checking it out. They can't keep it on the shelf. And so, yeah, I thought I would just share my thoughts about it. It's unique. I think people read it across genres, people who generally like one particular type of genre, because the book really does kind of cross genres. It's literary. It's also very natural world type writing. That's the kind of writing that Delia Owens had done before this. She was like a naturalist writer. It's also a mystery, and so there's all these different layers to it. It's like a coming of age story. It could fit into any number of categories, and yet she pulls it off so well. Now, I don't love the book, but I am blown away by several things about it. I read this probably like the year after it came out. It was on our local library's reading list, and I probably wouldn't have read it otherwise, although I was interested in it just from seeing it everywhere. A lot of these huge releases that are so popular, a lot of the times are not the kind of thing that I want to read. And to be perfectly honest, there are a couple passages in the book that I skimmed over a bit because just kind of, there's some stuff, a little uncomfortable stuff that I don't normally read that much, but honestly, it's not that bad. It depends on what you call graphic, whether you would call any of the scenes in the book graphic. She I think she does a good job. I would rather if she'd kept it a little more oblique, but she does pretty good at painting it very vividly so you know what's happening, while not like doing any like drawn out details. So like you clearly know what's happening. It's written in these stark realities, but it's not too graphic is how I would describe it. But I did kind of skim through a couple scenes. They aren't just totally I also don't mind them so much in a book because they aren't just purposeless scenes just for like, ooh, they're an important part of the story because, the way things go, they are pivotal moments in the story. So there's that. Other than that, though, it's very clean. There's very little language. But yeah, as far as what I think about the book, though, I am blown away by the scope of what Delia Owens did in a debut novel. Now, she was a writer, like I said, a naturalist writer before. She'd written for, I think, different magazines and such. But so she's very skilled. But to be able to go from writing nonfiction to doing a novel, and a novel of this magnitude, is so impressive. And I think that that's partly why the book is so popular. If you want to be really picky, like if you're judging this book against the highest standards of great writing, there are a couple things you could pick apart, especially early on. Some of the dialogue is a little, not even really the dialogue. She does the dialogue well, which is impressive because they're speaking in a very like dialecty way. I think her dialogue is good. Sometimes she'll like over explain the way that a person will say something, or maybe she just puts in some stuff that she wouldn't need to, that's shown from the way that people are talking. She maybe over describes at times some of the way that she sometimes seems to be inside Kaya's mind, and then some ways that she's seems to be on the outside looking in, or somebody else is observing Kaya. Those transitions don't always maybe work perfectly smoothly. I think that that's kind of, if there's anything amateurish about this novel, which I hesitate to even say because it is really amazing, it's that she does those transitions. She'll like swap however she feels like it, from kind of being from Kaya's perspective or someone else's perspective. So that's like a couple tiny things, but honestly, they don't really matter. The book still works. There's no major flaws in the storytelling. She crafted a brilliant novel. I think the thing that struck me the most, and how I described it after reading it at the time for the first time, was the perfect balance of the novel. I don't know when I have read a book, any book ever, really, especially the way that she handled these themes, the way that she worked in the mystery, the way that the mystery wasn't just, oh, this side thing, but actually ends up working into who Kaya is as a character. It is the most perfectly balanced plot I have maybe ever read. It was amazing how she subtly pulled off these different things. I can't really exactly talk about what I mean by that without giving spoilers, which I am not going to do, but the way that the people's perceptions from earlier on in the book kind of get turned around, and then with the way everything is resolved at the ending, I was honestly shocked by the ending. And for a mystery novel to be able to pull that off to where you were so genuinely surprised at the ending, and then looking back you see how everything was set up so perfectly, I was amazed. Having said that though, looking at it objectively as a novel, it is almost the perfect modern novel as far as plot, as far as writing. Obviously, I don't even have to talk. This book is known for this. The beauty of her writing about the swamp life and the nature and the natural world is just gorgeous and beautiful and a delight to read. All that being said, though, it is like the perfect novel, but there is something very lacking here. Technically, it is a really great work. Looking at it again from on paper, everything technical, it is almost perfect. But when you read it, when you experience the characters, and you experience it all the way through to the end, you were left feeling very hollow. At least I was. And maybe that's part of her point. I don't really feel like it is, but maybe. I think there's something very big that's lacking, and something that makes you feel hollow, because it's almost like Kaya's life, she takes nature to be her everything, to be her friend, to be her family, to fill everything that's empty in her life. But at the end of the day, no matter how beautiful nature is, it's never ever enough to fill your life. And even the few people that she has in her life, you get the sense that she never fully trusts them. She never fully is able to fit in with human society. And that's completely understandable when you read her upbringing. It's not unrealistic in any way, I don't feel. I think she would always, she feels very real for the very exceptional lifestyle that she lives, she feels very real. But again, I think there is something very much missing in her life, and I think probably I don't think this was the author's intention, but I do think the book is intended to feel kind of sad, kind of have a melancholy feel to it. I think that's intentional, but this emptiness, this deep emptiness of feeling like, yes, Kaya lived out her life, but she never really actually found something that truly, truly mattered. I don't know. I would love to hear other people's thoughts, but for me, I was left feeling very hollow. She was trying to seek fulfillment in nature, and nature can never fulfill you completely. You need more than that. So, those are my thoughts. Technically, a brilliant novel. Really interesting to read, beautiful in a lot of ways, but in the end, very, very lacking. And you can read other books that you could be like, well, tons of books have that same lacking, but you feel it acutely in this one. I think because there's such a longing for a fuller life, and there's so much loneliness that never really gets taken care of. That's never really, the need of which is never really met. And so at the end, you're just kind of like, oh, that was sad. So I don't know. I appreciate it on a lot of levels. And even that feeling of emptiness, of hollowness, is good, like food for thought. So I do appreciate the book. Again, there's a couple uncomfortable scenes, but nothing too graphic. You can kind of just skim over them if you want to. But yeah, I do think it is a worthwhile read, and I completely understand why it has the popularity and prestige that it does. And I think it'll kind of be like All the Light We Cannot See, where it's like a huge thing for a while and definitely dies down. Whether it'll kind of go on to become a classic, well, we will have to wait many years before we know. But it is pretty amazing. Again, possibly, especially for something modern, possibly the most balanced plot I've ever read. So, those are my thoughts on Where the Crawdads Sing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.